If your agency is operating at 5 or 10% margins, you are just a few weeks away from dead. Now, I've talked to 3 agency owners in the last week, each doing around $1 million in revenue, and each of them had margins under 10%. So that means they're bringing in $100,000 or so in profit. And here's the thing, they are not relentlessly focused on fixing their margins. So I've seen this play before, and I can tell you something with conviction. 2 out of those agencies will not be around in a year. None of them realize how fragile this is. It's just a few clients lost, just a slight dip in sales, and they are underwater. And what's going to happen? They're going to need to trim staff. That's going to destroy morale, and clients and staff are going to leave. The death spiral will begin. They are not safe, but they're also in denial. The market could change. The market has been going up and down and up and down, and it doesn't take much for just a few clients to fall off, and all of a sudden they're in the death spiral. How do I know this? Because when I hit $1 million in revenue in my agency, my margins were at 40%, and there was a financial hiccup. We ended up losing a bunch of clients at that point. And if I'd been running at 10% margins, the whole thing would have collapsed. Now, fortunately, I didn't have to fire anybody, and I made it through, and everybody got paid. But running that thin is running really close to the line, and you don't realize how easy it is, that maybe you've built up from $500,000 to $1 million to $2 million. And what it does to you, both from a morale perspective and from a momentum perspective, if you collapse all the way back down to under $1 million. You were at 2 and then now you're at 700, maybe you're at $500,000, all because it's this cascade effect of not focusing on the margins. So what did I do for all these agencies that I talked to in the past week? So I gave 2 out of the 3 agencies the same offer. And that offer was, I'll give them a strategy to fix their margins. And if they don't like the strategy, they don't have to pay anything. But here's what happened. Both of them had excuses about why now, it's not the time to fix it. And I'm going to share with you those excuses that I got so you don't make those excuses to yourself. So one agency said, well, I can't fix my margins now. I really just need to get more sales. Really, I'm just going to be focused on getting more clients. And the answer to that is no. More sales on a broken business model is going to make things worse. And honestly, this owner should count himself lucky to have a business that hadn't been just blown over by a slight breeze. More sales does not fix bad margins. All you're doing is filling this leaky bucket with more clients, and all the revenue is just going to leak out the bottom. You're really not fixing the problem. The second owner said, oh, I'm busy fixing this right now. It had something to do with the accounting system. I didn't really understand why it needed to be fixed, but the point is the same. Saying I'm busy fixing X right now, where X does not have to do with your margins, is the wrong thing to be focusing on. Every moment that you are not fixing your financial model, you are risking the business as a whole. Now, you might think that I'm being overblown, but it is not. Too many people are just assuming that tomorrow is going to look like today. And one day, because they didn't focus on what mattered, the business that they poured all these blood, sweat, and years into is going to be worthless. If you care about your business, about your clients, and your team, and your margins are under 20%, this should be your number 1 priority. It won't get better on its own, and more sales will not fix it. So if you're not sure how to fix it, get help. Don't risk the whole business because you didn't know how to fix it. Many of us have fixed it for ourselves and for our clients' businesses. So get help from someone who's been there.